This shocking true crime story exposes the dark secret of a respected judge who engaged in a forbidden affair with a teenager. The illicit relationship led to devastating consequences: pregnancy, the transmission of HIV, and ultimately murder. Could a pillar of the justice system be capable of such monstrous acts? How did a judge, sworn to uphold the law, become entangled in a web of deceit and violence? What drove this respected figure to commit such unspeakable crimes? This story delves into the depths of human depravity, revealing the chilling truth about the abuse of power and the tragic consequences of unchecked desires. Only 5% of those who watch my videos are subscribed. Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy my content. This helps me a lot. Enjoy the video. Judge Robert Sterling, a titan in the California Judiciary, exuded an aura of unwavering authority. His stern demeanor and impeccably tailored suits were as much a part of his persona as his reputation for unwavering justice. A man of routine, his days were meticulously planned: a brisk morning jog, a power breakfast with his equally successful wife Eleanor, and a relentless schedule of hearings and trials. Yet, beneath the polished veneer, a simmering discontent brewed. The weight of his position, the constant pressure of upholding the law, had begun to wear on him. A yearning for something more, something beyond the confines of his esteemed profession, gnawed at the edges of his carefully constructed life. Enter Emily Carter, a whirlwind of youthful energy in a world that often felt suffocatingly adult. With her bright smile, infectious laughter, and a spirit that seemed to defy gravity, she was a breath of fresh air in the stuffy corridors of the courthouse. Emily, a mere slip of a girl, was a stark contrast to the world Judge Sterling inhabited. Her life was a tapestry of vibrant colors: school plays, weekend soccer games, and the constant chatter of teenage dreams. Yet, beneath the surface of her carefree exterior, a quiet ache lingered. A longing for guidance, for a sense of belonging, in a world that often felt confusing and overwhelming. Their paths first crossed at a community gala, a glittering affair hosted by the judge's wife. Judge Sterling, initially drawn to the vibrant scene, found his gaze drawn to Emily, who was volunteering at the event, her laughter echoing through the room. He was captivated by her youthful exuberance, a stark contrast to the somber atmosphere that often permeated his life. Intrigued, he approached her, his initial interaction a carefully orchestrated display of kindness and paternal interest. Their subsequent encounters were carefully orchestrated by Judge Sterling. He would appear at her school's volunteer day, offer words of encouragement at a school board meeting, and even attend one of her soccer games, his presence a beacon of unexpected attention. Emily, starved for recognition and validation, found herself drawn to the judge's charisma and the sense of importance he made her feel. He seemed to see her, truly see her, in a way that no one else ever had. The line between mentor and friend began to blur imperceptibly. Their conversations deepened, venturing beyond the superficialities of school and community events. Judge Sterling, with his wealth of experience and worldly wisdom, presented himself as a confidant, a source of guidance in Emily's turbulent teenage years. He listened patiently to her anxieties, her dreams, her frustrations, offering words of encouragement and support that resonated deeply within her. As their connection deepened, a dangerous undercurrent began to stir. The judge, with his powerful aura and the intoxicating power he wielded, exerted an undeniable influence over the impressionable teenager. Emily, in her naivety, found herself increasingly drawn to him, her admiration bordering on infatuation. One evening, as they shared a quiet dinner at a secluded bistro, a palpable tension filled the air. A lingering touch, a stolen glance across the table, spoke volumes about the forbidden desires that were beginning to consume them both. The judge, his eyes gleaming with a newfound intensity, leaned in closer, his breath fanning Emily's cheek. In that moment, the boundaries between mentor and admirer shattered, replaced by a dangerous, unspoken understanding. The seed of a forbidden romance had been planted, and its potential to bloom into something devastating was undeniable. The line between mentor and lover had been crossed, and with each passing day, the judge and Emily found themselves further ensnared in their illicit affair. Their meetings, initially discreet and infrequent, became more frequent, more intimate. They explored secluded corners of the city, hidden cafes, scenic overlooks. The judge's secluded vacation cabin nestled deep within the redwood forests. These clandestine rendezvous provided a sanctuary from the prying eyes of the world, a space where their forbidden desires could flourish unchecked. The judge, a master manipulator, expertly exploited Emily's vulnerability. He showered her with affection, showering her with gifts, designer clothes, lavish jewelry, and experiences beyond her wildest dreams. He presented himself as her escape, her confidant, the only one who truly understood her. Emily, starved for attention and validation, found herself increasingly reliant on him, her world shrinking to the confines of their clandestine relationship. As their relationship deepened, Emily began to experience a profound sense of isolation. Her friends, sensing a change in her demeanor, began to distance themselves. Her grades slipped, her once vibrant personality fading into a shadow of its former self. She became increasingly withdrawn, her thoughts consumed by the judge, his words, his touch. The judge, noticing the subtle changes in Emily's behavior, skillfully manipulated the situation. He convinced her that the world was jealous of their connection, that her friends were merely envious of the special bond they shared. He isolated her further, convincing her that he was the only one who truly understood her, the only one she could truly trust. The judge and Emily went to great lengths to conceal their affair. They communicated through encrypted messages, their conversations laced with coded language, their meetings meticulously planned to avoid detection. The judge, a master of deception, meticulously covered his tracks, ensuring no evidence of their relationship could ever be traced back to him. The judge, sensing her growing unease, attempted to alleviate her fears. He promised her that their secret was safe, that he would never let anything jeopardize their happiness. He showered her with reassurances, convincing her that their love was a powerful force, a force that could withstand any scrutiny. However, his reassurances offered little comfort. Emily's paranoia grew, fueled by the constant fear of discovery. She began to see conspiracies everywhere, convinced that everyone around her was aware of their secret, whispering about her behind her back. The once vibrant teenager was slowly consumed by a suffocating sense of paranoia and isolation. One day, a terrifying reality shattered the fragile illusion of their perfect world. Emily missed her period. The news sent a wave of panic through her, her mind racing with the terrifying implications. The judge, initially taken aback, quickly regained his composure. He reassured her, suggesting that it was likely just a delayed cycle, a common occurrence for teenagers. However, as the weeks passed, Emily's fears were confirmed. A home pregnancy test yielded a positive result, the 2 pink lines a stark reminder of the consequences of their forbidden affair. The news plunged Emily into a state of despair. Fear, confusion, and a sense of overwhelming dread consumed her. She envisioned her parents' disappointment, the judge's anger, the shattering of her dreams. The judge, initially shocked by the news, quickly regained his composure. He insisted on taking control of the situation, promising to guide her through this difficult time. He suggested they keep the pregnancy a secret, assuring her that he would make everything right. He offered to help her find a discreet clinic, to arrange for an abortion, to erase any trace of their indiscretion. Emily, overwhelmed and terrified, found herself clinging to his promises. She felt lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty, and the judge, with his calm demeanor and unwavering confidence, offered a sense of stability, a lifeline in the storm. The news shattered Emily's world. Fear, anger, and a profound sense of betrayal consumed her. She felt betrayed by the judge, the man she had trusted, the man who had promised to protect her. She felt betrayed by her own body, by the fragility of her own existence. The judge, upon learning of Emily's diagnosis, was initially stunned. He had been unaware of his HIV status, his own denial masking the reality of his own health. The news sent him into a tailspin, his carefully constructed facade crumbling around him. He grappled with the guilt, the fear, the realization that his own actions had irrevocably altered the course of Emily's life. Emily, struggling to cope with the devastating news, found herself sinking into a deep depression. The joy of her impending motherhood was overshadowed by the fear of the unknown, the uncertainty of her future, the constant threat of illness and death. She felt abandoned, alone, and utterly lost. He contacted a discreet legal team, experts in crisis management. He instructed them to silence Emily, to discourage her from speaking out. He offered her a substantial sum of money, a promise of financial security in exchange for her silence. He threatened her with legal action, warning her of the potential consequences of exposing their affair. Emily, weakened by her illness and emotionally drained by the judge's betrayal, felt powerless. She was trapped, a prisoner in her own body, her life dictated by the judge's whims. The judge, with his wealth and influence, held all the cards. She felt utterly alone, abandoned by the man she had once trusted, her future hanging by a thread. The judge's attempts to silence Emily only served to escalate the situation. Emily, fueled by anger and despair, sought legal counsel. She confided in a sympathetic lawyer, detailing the judge's abuse of power, the deception, the transmission of HIV. The lawyer, appalled by the judge's actions, vowed to help Emily seek justice. The pressure mounted on the judge. His career was in ruins, his reputation shattered, his life spiraling out of control. Desperate and cornered, he resorted to desperate measures. He confronted Emily, demanding that she retract her allegations, threatening to silence her permanently. The confrontation turned violent, the judge's rage erupting in a fit of fury. In a moment of blind rage, he struck Emily, the blow sending her crashing to the ground. The judge, horrified by his actions, panicked. He realized he had gone too far. He tried to revive Emily, but it was too late. The blow had been fatal. The judge, consumed by guilt and fear, fled the scene. He went into hiding, disappearing from public view. The police, alerted to Emily's disappearance, launched a massive manhunt. The judge's carefully constructed facade crumbled. His home was searched, his bank accounts frozen, his life unraveling before his eyes. The media frenzy intensified, painting him as a monster, a predator who had preyed on the innocent. In an attempt to push down the fear, the judge, living in constant fear of capture, found himself increasingly isolated, haunted by the ghost of his victim. He was a fugitive from justice, a shadow of the man he once was. The judge was eventually apprehended, his reign of terror brought to an end. He was charged with murder, assault, and the transmission of HIV. The trial was a media circus, every detail of his crimes laid bare for the world to see. The judge, facing overwhelming evidence, pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, his once illustrious career reduced to a footnote in the annals of criminal history. Emily's death sent shockwaves through the community, a stark reminder of the dangers of abuse of power and the devastating consequences of unchecked desire. The judge, once a symbol of justice, became a cautionary tale, a reminder that even those entrusted with upholding the law are not immune to the temptations of power and the fragility of human life. The story of the judge and Emily served as a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked desire, the abuse of power, and the fragility of human life. It was a tragedy that unfolded against the backdrop of privilege and deceit, a cautionary tale that would forever be etched in the collective memory of the community.